And welcome to Penny for a Tale. My name is Mitchell, and today is kind of a special time as we are recapping previous episodes of Age of Ashes. So we're gonna have kind of a fireside chat today. So it's gonna be a lot of fun if you've seen the previous episode and have gotten to know some of the characters. And today you're definitely able to ask us why. And I know some people will just be asking why about Moth. There really is no answer. But nonetheless, before we kind of get into the fun of the what we have going on today, as well as introducing the cast today, we here at Penny for a Tale have a statement, and it is Black Lives Matter. It is our belief, firm belief as an organization and individuals, that every human should be given the same rights, freedoms, and opportunities. And that has simply not been the experience for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, as well as several other marginalized groups within America. Penny for a Tale was founded on the premise of presenting unique and underrepresented voices in a tabletop community. We have always worked with smaller creators, particularly BIPOC and LGBTQ individuals, to present their unique perspectives in the industry and give them a platform. Therefore, one way we will continue to provide our support is to direct your attention to some of the many Black creators in the tabletop industry, as well as some amazing game bundles that directly contribute to equality and Black voices. So if you are curious about these links and such, they will be up in the chat as soon as I can, and you will also find this statement as well as all the links on our Facebook group as well as our Patreon within a day. But yeah, that is our statement. We are going to throw it off to Spence as I throw this ball over.
Okay, I got it. I think. Hang on. Maynard, do you got it? Maynard has it.
Catch your balls.
Yeah. Anyway, hi, I'm Spence. I live here. And by here I mean on Twitch. So I play Modica Freerunner in this campaign of Pathfinder. She is a halfling ranger, and her animal companion is a warg that she saved from abandonment, named Aldonis. And yeah, it has been an interesting ride putting myself into a non-spellcaster, and I would love to answer questions about that. But before we do that, I'm going to pass it on off to the person that I started this game with, Sailix. Daniel. You're welcome.
I wasn't expecting that one. Hi guys, I'm Daniel. I play Sailix, the Elven Guard. I mean, he's kind of went off and done his own thing a bunch during the campaign, so I guess there's things that he could talk about in general. But aside from that, I do want to plug that next Sunday, I will have the honor of running the Sunday guest spot for a week on doing a session 0 of our game that I will be running Scion, second ed edition, with a few awesome people. So I do hope that you guys will tune in and check that out for a little bit. After Sunday, we'll be starting up on every Friday around 8:30 to 9 o'clock. For yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. And Alex, you're next.
You gotta pass me the ball.
I don't
Pass
have
me
any
your balls.
to pass.
Boy, pass me your balls.
I didn't pass him the ball, so that's me dropping the ball. But mostly just because I wanted to keep it all to myself.
It fell. All right. Hey guys, I'm Alex. I am here. Yay. I play the director, who is a gnome bard. Honestly, every question you could possibly ask is just like, I'm just gonna let you know. No, I'm not gonna, because then you need to watch the episode. So no, ask me all the questions. There's answers for every single one of them. But tomorrow, just real quick plug, is my Star Wars game. Hopefully getting back on track with some Star Wars. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to not pass the ball, but pass the ball over to our lovely Mr. Smith.
Hello, I'm Mr. Smith. I play Rune Ravenswood, the haphazard and rather crazy wizard these days, with his familiar Corvus, the Raven. Also, too, I'd like to extend out my introduction. So, for the last few months, actually since the beginning of the campaign, Fantasy Grounds My Works has been a fantastic sponsor, and we want to continue to thank them for their partnership with us and granting us access to their. Honestly, it's been a wonderful tool, and it's really helped character progression, character management, combat management. I mean, the whole shebang. Not to mention their upcoming Unity
So
upgrade.
good.
I hear it is nothing but pure, unadulterated magic. In addition to that, definitely want to give a solid shout out to the Only Sheet. I use it on a regular basis, not only for Pathfinder 2e, but they also have a Only Sheet for D&D 3.5, 5th edition, Pathfinder 1st edition. I mean, you name it, it's got it all covered. It's an automated Excel worksheet. Highly, highly recommend it. Finally, even though you won't be hearing it this evening, I want to give a shout out to Michael Gelfi for his YouTube ambiance music. It's really brought a level of art, I guess, to our game. I really appreciate his donation of that. But anyway, I will pass the ball that doesn't exist to whoever else. I don't know who's next.
So
The end.
first of all, the reason that we're doing this is because our wonderful storyteller and GM, thank you. Yes, no, I don't want to take little Mitch. Put him away. Put him away. Away.
All right, you won't know where he is though.
Yeah. Anyway, we do want to congratulate our wonderful GM, who has become an uncle again, and so he's helping out his family with new baby, new life. Life is awesome, and we would be remiss if we did not also say that we usually have our dear friend Jen, who plays Reika, a lizard folk cleric, who is also not here for family reasons, and we love you. And her Kickstarter is fully funded and several tiers above. So she's super excited. We're super excited for her. Congratulations, Jen. That's awesome news, and we can't wait to play again.
Yes.
So knowing that some of these things would be coming up, I suggested that we do a little fireside chat, a little bit of a character interaction, or answer some questions about our characters. And I'm happy to facilitate this if y'all want, because
Yes.
I have ideas on direction. But we actually have our first question that's not from me, in the chat. And Loud Atlas has asked, my question as a humble viewer, does your player trust Moth? Do you mean player or character? And what do you think he is?
I was gonna say the player doesn't trust Mitchell.
So who is the question pertaining to? Because I can tell you, Sailix 100% does not trust Moth, and he thinks he is an abomination from the heavens and should be destroyed on sight. But he puts up with them because the party seems to be okay.
Yeah, Monica was never really sure why he showed up. Like, Monica does not do magic, and magic is a little bit terrifying, especially when it's like the first thing that happens when you show up in town.
We got attacked by
we got attacked by fire things, and then the director got possessed, and then this Leshy comes, like this earth craziness thing comes out of the ground. So Monica does not trust Moth at all. The only moment where there was a slight change to that was when Moth asked about compassion with regards to Aldonis. And that was starting to change, and then Moth died. And we're like, oh well, Moth is dead. Now he's back and creepy as ever, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I think for the direct,
As far as Rune goes, um, Moth's entrance through the rather dramatic showing by inhabiting the director made him extremely interested in the creature. It wasn't only until see, this is very weird because Smith here has been playing with Mitchell for a very long time, so I understand how Mitchell works his characters to some extent. So I knew that whenever Moth said, "Oh yeah, I'll stand right next to you. I'll follow you, no problem," he was just going to disappear and cause havoc. However, trying to be the unknowing Rune, it really wasn't until Moth started to make rather not so subtle statements about how it perceived nature versus the people in it, that he began to become very concerned about the existence of this thing. His return created a whole different kind of mess. But that's the business of being a stupid wizard sometimes.
That's why you should wash your hands.
R.I.P.
I mean, wash your hands pretty regularly anyway, but if you're touching Moth, just burn them.
Yep. Director, what did you feel about it?
the director doesn't know quite what to make out of Moth. He was the one that was possessed with him in the beginning, and like it was I think for anything, as long as it's a good story, he is okay with it, regardless of like kind of morality in itself. Like as long as it's an interesting concept. He doesn't know how to write Moth in yet. Like he's not quite sure if this is going to be a weird villain or if this is going to be a bizarre side character that has like his own story. Like he doesn't know yet. So Danny DeVito.
Great. So Sailix.
Yeah.
You and I were supposed to be part-time characters.
We were. I was a part-time character.
You were a part-time character. So what went into creating Sailix?
So oddly enough, Sailix is a reusable name that I use throughout a lot of my characters that I have, and I've always tended to go like more of a rogue route with all my characters, like an assassin or something. It's just that's my bread and butter. Like I'm just comfortable in that role and portraying it. So when I was talking to Ian about what to do with him, he was like, we really kind of need a tankier person, like somebody that's able to get up in their face, like not have to sneak around the shadows. So it's like, okay, I'll fill that role, and then I just kind of fell in love with the concept as a whole, and it's a great time now.
Yeah. We kind of skipped Mitchell's reaction. How do you feel about Moth?
Oh right.
I forgot.
Oh man, Moth.
Like, where does your head go when you think about him and try to embody that character?
Really, my head goes different places when I play other characters. Moth is a very down-to-earth, like... Moth has inhabited my mind for probably the last decade or two. And, I mean, horror has always been something that I enjoy, and anytime I can put the genre into anything, I will attempt to do so. So, I mean, Moth was born in partly from the inspiration from a movie that I am forgetting right now, but it's about a bunch of hikers going through the woods, and they have this old god of Loki, who is watching and killing them. And Moth is very much kind of like that, in every way. Yeah, he enjoys people. But he also sees every house as kind of like the carcass of a home of his brothers and sisters, and so humanity in general just seems to be this barbaric group.
Nature's returning. We are the virus.
Is Loud Atlas Ian?
It is.
I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, I was like, I
These
saw
are good
him.
questions.
So these
I
are
know,
great
right?
questions.
These are fantastic.
I was like,
so
this guy's
Moth,
really on it.
I thought I
And
saw
then
him in
the-
Encounter Roleplay a couple weeks ago, and I was like, who is
and
this
then
guy?
so he says Moth always feels like an NPC I can't seem to control. Makes him all the more creepy to me. And it's like, well, yeah, because
Mitchell, one day I want to have like a horror off with you. Like one day I want to like set this up that I want to like combat your horrorness.
All right, I think that's the Lighthouse, the movie. We both go onto an island.
Beans. It all goes back to the beans. Have you seen the Lighthouse? Yeah.
I love the Lighthouse. Like
So do I. I really did. I loved it. It was very like
I
St.
saw it in
Elmo's Fire.
theaters,
I loved
and
it.
then I've been rewatching it on Amazon Prime again and again, and it's something me and my kid have been really enjoying.
Beans.
Yeah, it's just like
Right. You're just chilling out watching that one
your
right there.
child is a toddler.
I love it.
Look, I read him Call of Cthulhu and other stuff. I feel the moment you see horror as your friend and faithful companion on your road to life, the easier life becomes.
So that whole spoof video of the daycare for all the horror children.
Yeah, that's
And he will be relaxed by the Necronomicon before nap time. Yeah, okay.
yeah. My kid was doing something super creepy earlier. He was just kind of over my tummy, like this, and going.
Summoning.
Channeling the
and
dark
I'm like,
energies.
Channeling dark energy.
He's gonna use your life force to bring something for.
I'm like,
And,
just let
it's
me
gonna-
know.
It's gonna burst out of your chest. It'll be fine.
Just let me know. I want to like go eat like at a restaurant before that happens. Real
Waffle
quick.
House.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
go to a Waffle House.
You stay out of my Waffle House.
Stay out of my waffle.
Where's your address, Daniel? I'm just gonna eat at your place.
Yeah, we're not
Just
gonna
gonna
do that. So another question for the cast. Enzokule is at a developmental crossroads. If your player were to choose, would you want him to change his ways? Should he return to his roots? I feel like Reika would say absolutely yes. What the hell?
So, I haven't had, or Sailix hasn't had much interaction with Enzokule overall. But I feel like developmentally, like if he were to like go back to his roots, it would. I really just want to see him like pop out of a hut, like just full on shredded, like
Jacked.
jacked to like the nines, and like he's carrying like 2 wives on each arm. And then,
Hey, I have a husband, and that husband is incredibly attractive.
But
Yeah,
I
but
would
your
like to
husband can also carry a wife.
I would
I want my husband to carry Enzokule, so
I would like to see like the character change in my opinion.
Rune. Mr. Smith, do you?
Oh, the Enzokule character. I wholly appreciate the past that brought Enzokule where he is now, and I doubly appreciate the annoyance factor that he brings to the game because of his staunch perspective and the arguably the trauma that he experienced that brought him to that point, right? And so I am interested to see how the next round of trauma, like what is going to be the next traumatic event that is going to force him to change again? Is it going to occur during this game? I mean, in theory, sort of my cinematic side says, yeah, it has to, right? But then there's Mitchell, so you never know.
I mean, didn't we just see some of that trauma 2 episodes ago when one of his wives ripped off her wedding earring?
Can I just say, Samantha's scene, that scene was absolutely fantastic.
Wasn't it? Oh,
That
my God.
honestly, hands down, personally speaking, best scene of the game so far.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
It was
Definitely.
like, and it was, I had invited these 3 on, and then I think it was about an hour before where I was like, oh shit, I'm about to get fucked.
In not the good way.
Yeah, like, oh my God. They're all drama bombs. Like, this is gonna be rough. Which is awesome.
It was super awesome. Anybody else want to comment on Enzokule?
Enzokule, bitch. I wanted everybody to get in their thing before like the director came through, because that's what he just said. That was all. He a bitch. He doesn't give a shit. Like and this has been the funniest thing. Like I never, really wrote the director to have somebody like Enzokule, and that's been the thing that has developed. But God, the director sees Enzokule as everything that he hates about the real world. And of course, being a gnome, things, that's a big thing for them. And having somebody drag you down back into reality is like the worst thing for them. So that's what Enzokule is to him. He's the man. He's the tax collector, everything. One person, and that's Enzokule for right now. Because I feel like the director can have, many of these types of people that bring him down over time, because that happens. Because he's poor with money and is crazy. Also, Danny DeVito. Yeah.
I feel like Monica is so reminded of horrible people in her past by Enzokule that's why at first she really tried to like, hey, this is not how you get things done. If you ask people politely, they will be kinder to you. Da 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 da. He is not receptive to any of that, so she's just like, fuck him. Fuck him. He does not understand the social aspects, so we're done. I've already got one socially inept person to deal with. I don't have another. I don't have spoons to deal with another.
I don't blame you.
Enzokule's a wonder.
When you all were creating your characters, what was like the starting kernel of the idea of your character? Like Sailix, we said was emo elf boy.
Yeah, it's definitely just kind of well, in the beginning, like he was supposed to be like overbearing guard that was trying to just do his keep the city going. Like he had a mission in mind, and like that was his thing. But like after his fucking fiance of like, I think we said like 10 years or whatever, like disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, he took it kind of hard.
As one would.
Now he's kind of just the emo Sasuke character of the group.
You nerd. You weeb.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
You weeb.
110%.
Mitchell.
What's up?
What was the kernel of creation for Moth?
Oh.
And Enzokule.
And Enzokule.
Yeah, so Moth was definitely watching the that Loki film was near and dear to my heart. And then I kind of just took it from a perspective of, if I was a plant, how would I feel about people making like wooden taverns or walking on grass and all sorts of stuff that humanity does.
Reasons why I want to play Ages Past again, so I can play that character.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And your army of children?
My army of children.
Yeah.
So in the Ages Past game, I play a sentient rosebush.
Yep.
Age Past. I've heard of that game. That's the best game ever. No,
It really is.
I love you, Jeff McClinsky.
It's a lot of fun, yeah. And I was curious because I wanted to see what would happen if everyone made regular characters, and I just gave someone an NPC badass sheet. And it did not disappoint. Spence was amazing. It was culty. There was so many weird stuff happening, and I'm like, yes!
That game, yeah. The good thing about that game is that you can literally make anything, any idea, anything you want to do. Like, yeah, like use Beastmaster with flowers instead of animals or whatever. You can, fun system.
Yeah, it's definitely a versatile system.
Well, let me know if we ever do a one shot because I definitely want to play.
Yep. What about Enzokule?
Oh man, Enzokule was kind of what I thought about kind of the growth and progress of people in general. Your teenage and college years usually like super in shape. You're active. You're sharp. It's kind of considered the best days that you think about when you kind of look back on your life in terms of like the physical look of yourself. And then as you grow older, life starts happening. I mean, not everyone could be as sexy as Daniel and Alex and Spence and
I mean,
Mr. Smith, but
I'm just kind of putting all my eggs in the basket of aging like fine wine. Like,
yeah, like when I got married, I took on like, I don't know, 50 pounds. I was like a ship out at sea with a hole in it, and the water just kept filling in. And so it's kind of like the best physical moments were in your past, and how do you kind of like move on from that sort of thing? And part of it was trying to make him very passive, very much kind of like the new Harry Potter. Was it Newt? What was his name, right? The new
Commander?
Yeah.
I already knew that, and I haven't even. Oh my god, that was a ball. I don't even like Harry Potter that much.
Yeah, and like I was reading a article about like why the movie didn't do so well, and obviously there was a couple of things that went on, but part of it is that Americans and people in general aren't really receptive to a passive male protagonist. They're used to more of these action hero, like aggressive people, while the character was definitely someone who exemplifies compassion, a timidity, a sensitivity that male characters just aren't associated with. And that's something I've wanted to bring in with Enzokule, all those aspects, and just to see what would happen, and also have a sheet that didn't make sense so that I would look around and not have anything to do in combat, which is something I've always enjoyed doing. So yeah, it's just kind of like, when the wheel hits the pavement, you see what happens, and I think I'm excited to see where his story will go, and just how it'll all come out.
That last part that you said, it just reminds me of the scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Sean Connery's character. They're on the beach and there's a fighter pilot coming toward them, and so Sean Connery takes his umbrella and flaps it at the seagulls, and the seagulls go into the plane to crash the plane.
I suddenly remember my Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Can you use seagulls to crash a plane? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly remember my Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Rune, what was the kernel of inspiration for you? I'm sorry, I'm hungry, guys, so I'm eating.
No,
no, I'm eating too. Like, we're all hungry.
Everybody's got to eat, man. No big deal. Rune, so years ago, I was in a 3.5 game, and I played this pure wizard arcane build and had a ton of fun. But after playing that character literally for like 8 years, I was a little burnt out on magic. And so since then, I've been waffling back and forth between, rangers, rogues, fighter, archer types more recently. And when we were playtesting the 2E system late last year, there were some interesting things in there, but honestly, the system was too new, and most of us just got really, really frustrated with it. But when this game was coming up, I was reading specifically through the magic stuff in the 2E system, and really interested in how they broke it all out. And the urge to play a caster again had come along, but there were some aspects of typical character history that I wanted to change up. I didn't want him to have a tragic backstory. Rune comes from a perfectly normal farming family. He has ambition, but it isn't at the onset anyway, it hadn't reached a dangerous point. Like, he had a thing that he wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure that however the story went, he could either become this insane wizard that seeks nothing but power, or the complete opposite. This fairly kind, gentle soul who will do whatever he can and uses magic any way he can to help those around him. And so, yeah, that's really what I wanted to make sure happened. The whole Rune Ravenswood, actually, Ravenswood came from an Indiana Jones movie, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I really like the name.
Ravenswood, yep.
Yeah, yep. And I really like the name and wanted to have first and last name sort of matching, right? Some alliteration. Rune came to mind. I thought that was apropos. Although I now find every time I talk about how he casts his spells, I keep wanting to say arcane runes, and that just makes it very confusing. So
I just imagine Corvus runes dancing about.
Yeah, Corvus. I wanted him to have a familiar just because I wanted to maintain that raven theme and motif, and that's where Corvus came about. The voice comes from a completely different character that I had made ages ago.
I was going to ask about the voice, because I like your voice for him. I always like when people try and do voices for stuff, and I love your voice for Corvus.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So the voice for Corvus came from a very old Advanced Dungeons and Dragons game. There was a class that in there called a Wild Mage. And so I had, at the time, this is a very long story, sorry everybody. At the time, I had created a Wild Mage who was an apprentice who broke into his master's study to learn magic and came across wild magic. And on his very first experiment, his wild surge caused him to age 60 years. And so he went from being 15 to 75 years old. He began to portray this visage of this crazy old wizard. And he talked like this and was all rather rude and kind of incomprehensible sometimes and muttered quite a bit. And he would make fun of people and call them assholes for no reason. And so the voice really stuck with my friends at the time. It was a particular completely non-game note. I sang in that voice during a karaoke night to the song Beat It. Now, if you could turn Beat It into the most innuendo-filled song of your life, that's what that voice does.
That's great.
Can we get a taste of that?
Yeah, I will pay to hear that.
I will happily do it for you guys, not on stream.
Oh, man.
Party at Mr. Smith's house.
Perfect.
Yep, let's go.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
What was your kernel of inspiration for the director? I know this is
All right.
softball. Here,
All
let
right.
me throw it to you.
All right. When I
Did
think
you
about
throw
making
Danny DeVito?
characters, I really delve deep into like a very deep and intricate part of my persona. I feel that I draw from many past experiences and many people that I have seen and have watched and have been inspired by. And I think that the director had a lot of personalities that I have filled with wonderful comedians, with wonderful actors. Danny DeVito.
There you go.
The best actor.
I'm just letting you the whole monologue. I was just staring like, yeah.
real talk.
Yeah.
I when I first started to make an idea of when I was coming, and I went to Ian and I was like, everybody was making their stuff, and I was like, well, man, what am I going to fill this? Like, what am I going to do? What is my inspiration? And I just kept telling Ian, I just kind of want to make a character that I can make dumb puns with, and I can be fun. Like, I just wanted to be funny. I just want to try to be. Let me clarify that. Try and be funny. None of my jokes never land. But he is Frank from Always Sunny. Like, that is who I was. The inspo. Danny DeVito. All the answers are Danny DeVito.
Nice.
That's legit. By the way, I thoroughly enjoy the director. I love the name. I love that you maintain the theme through your spells, your actions. Like, you always try and find the highest point in a combat scene so you can oversee the entire. It's honestly, it's on point. Well done.
Thank you. you. There's so much more I want to do with him, and there's just it's been a little bit weird to get him into combat, because I think I built him not a super combat-y character, and then as we had started to play, it just has been needed that we've needed the extra people to get in there, and like there are a lot of great bard buffs spells that you can do, but I haven't gotten there's so much I want to do with him. There's so much I think that I could continue to improve on, and if not, then I'll just make another Danny DeVito.
Point two.
And if you're wondering, Monica's original character was based on a song by Guggenheim Grotto. It's called "Trust Me, I'm a Thief." And so originally, when Monica came to town, she was a risk consultant or loss prevention consultant, and so trust me, I'm a thief. I know this stuff. So when we all came together, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
I thought my stuff froze. I was like, oh my god, did I freeze?
Nope. Nope. That was the
thought train
visual, the thought train going and smashing into the side of a mountain instead of going through the tunnel.
I've done that.
So somebody else ask a question, please.
Oh man.
No.
Oh god, everyone.
I know.
I got it. So, I was absent for a few months during the time. So while the campaign was proceeding along, what was the best thing that happened to your individual characters in that time frame when Sailix had left and when he came back?
Oh, that's a good question.
So this is between after the fight at the or after putting the fire out at the library town hall thing.
So it was when after he had we were chasing that one person in the Citadel, and the bomb went off and knocked Sailix out, and then after he woke up, he left, and in between that and he come back in the tavern that stormy night with his hair all long.
With his hair all long.
Oh,
So one of Monica's favorite things that happened was she got the warg babies.
Aww.
I had a reason for existing other than stealing people's stuff, and they were adorable murder machines. It was great. So yeah, I only got to keep one of them though, because the rest of the pack, or the matriarch of the pack, felt remorse for abandoning the three of them and took two of them from me, but left me with the lame one. They were gonna kill him though. So.
And then what happened when they came back? They left him with you,
they left him with me, and then me and Rune worked together to build different braces and or wield contraptions over time as he grew to give him more mobility. So at first we did one of those chariot things where you lift the back legs up and you just have wheels. And then during our 1.5-year break, Rune constructed actual braces that helped stabilize the legs. And so now through the power of friendship, Aldonis can actually run and climb and everything. And it's pretty awesome.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the Rick and Morty point where they're on these mechanized things.
Where are my balls, Summer? Where are my balls, Monica?
I have never watched any Rick and Morty, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
I think
It's okay.
was that I can't remember if Sailix wasn't around for this one, but it was when Rune got caught behind the cave-in.
He wasn't there for
Oh,
that.
I wasn't.
I remember
That was really cool. That was
though.
really cool for you, Rune. I really like that. I like the your.
Yeah, that was
We
that
were
was
all.
I thought you were dead.
freaking
Like, I was
out.
like, oh,
Yeah.
Rune's gonna go. Bye
Rune's
forever.
dead.
I'm not gonna lie, I was fairly convinced I was gonna die.
It's like,
But yeah, that was a pretty fun and interesting scene. Only because like there was a lot of internal play for Rune because he was separated from his familiar. So that was very weird for him. But yeah, that was I would have to say that was probably a very poignant scenario for him while Sailix was gone.
How about the director?
I was actually looking through my notes. For the director himself, anytime he can like actually have a play and it goes well, that is like the highlight of his life. That is like his everything. In terms of like Alex's personal, I don't know. I have the naming of the Unforgotten was pretty cool. I really like that. And actually, there's a story with that. Oh, the Unforgotten. So, in the moment of trying to really quickly think of like something to name us, I definitely did. The Unforgotten is a name of actually a group of other players that I played. Oh my god, I don't remember if it was a Heroes game. It was like a City of Mist game, but with superheroes, and we needed a name for our team. And we were called the Unforgiven. We were called because we were all kind of like villainy, but like we were called the Unforgiven.
You played
So-
City of Mist without me?
No, this is actually, you know what? No, it was actually for the Heroes game for Jeff McClincy's other game.
Okay, so
Yeah,
not
so-
City of Mist.
Not City of Mist. It wasn't. It was a City of Mist.
Super Age, right?
Yeah, yes. I always call it Age Super, but it's not that. It's whatever.
That badass
Yeah.
devil chick you played.
Yeah, I did. I played a character that actually had character art created for it and is now a part of the, that role playing.
Can you
game.
sign my book? I need to
I
get a
will,
book,
because
but-
that's that's stupid.
I'm gonna get you to sign it.
Okay. But no, so we were called the Unforgiven, I think. And I was trying to think of anything, and the Unforgotten in just, kind of popped in my head because of that. So that was that. I really enjoyed the combat when we lost Rune. And I remember the whole thing with him creeping around in the dark, although that wasn't, any part of the director's thing, that was really cool to hear later. And I really enjoyed that because the feeling of, is much like how we like horror, being around in the dark and having this insectoid like following you and like in the dark. That was great. I was like, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I ruined it so much, but I get you.
Yeah, that director would have been like, oh no, I did not sign up for this. This is not the movie I wanted. It's not the play that I wanted.
What about you, Moth? What was your favorite part while Sailix was gone?
Dying by a door.
Right. I was like, was it dying?
I
said it
think
was
it
dying,
was
but-
like just like the oh shit, yeah, that killed me. It's
That's
like
always a fun thing.
Or was
yeah.
it the time? Or no, because Sailix is back at that point. It was like the time you almost died again with Enzokule.
I mean, Enzokule's always at the precipice of death, just with any strenuous exercise, much like myself. But yeah, I mean, it was like taking that in the face. I feel like Pathfinder and D&D have made traps to be more abundant than they really are. It's almost like in, when you're a kid and they keep preparing you for quicksand, but that's not a thing that you have to worry about, right?
Did you get did you get prepared for quicksand? Was that a thing, or is it just, are you talking about media, like movie? Because it is in a lot of movies. But did you get taught how to like escape quicksand?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was like a little class. I mean, they taught us
You
lots
don't
of things.
struggle. You like the faster you struggle, the faster you like fall
Yeah.
down. Kind of relax, and you try to move to the edge to find the ground to lift yourself up.
Exactly.
find-
Or like, they're like, here's a Pythagorean theorem. You're gonna use this like every day in your new life. And I'm like, now I'm like 30, and I'm like,
But you can't build IKEA furniture, can you?
Nobody can build IKEA
yeah.
furniture.
I can. I can.
I keep trying to figure out where
There's
the Swedish meatballs come into play concerning the furniture, and I haven't been able to. I just keep smacking them together, and they don't make anything. But
All right. So I have another question. If nobody else does.
Or meatball content.
More meatball content. What is your favorite kind of meatball? No.
ooh,
Um,
raw.
Yours.
So, throughout the campaign, what has been something that your character has done and that you immediately wish you would have done differently? Like, has there been like a turning point where you're like, this, like, all these actions have culminated into this one thing, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but you're like, ah, shit, I should have done that.
I wish I didn't open that door. I think that was a mistake. Did not see that coming. Definitely shouldn't have caught that trap with my face. But
Yeah.
I certainly wish I didn't that I hadn't taken Moth's skull at this point.
Right, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Rune's Eye.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't given Rune my necklace.
Oh yeah, that was a poor choice.
That was a poor choice.
He does
But-
feel bad about that.
Yeah, you're still not forgiven.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But I also kind of feel bad about letting the other two warg pups go.
Are you gonna kill their mom?
No, I can't do that now, but I could have not met them at the clearing.
True.
So there's that. But yeah, that's my regret.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Smith?
Oh, true Rune regrets. Rune does regret and would take back using the necklace like he did. In case no one has noticed, a bit of a character flaw with Rune is he's absolutely convinced he's right when it comes to his experiments. So, yeah, that's something that may or may not ever get corrected.
That's the best part. Like, he's like, no, I'm 85% sure this is gonna work, but 85%.
His retort in the moment was, "But I was right."
Actually, for the necklace scenario, I distinctly remember as soon as Ian started to describe what was happening, he immediately just went shit and disappeared.
I remember that. Like, he was just shit.
Yeah.
Anything for you, Alex, that you regret?
The director is he lives his life by such a whim that, like, I think he tries not to have any regrets. Like, I think the only thing he as a character will always want more fun, more like I don't want to say trickery, more like just rascally fun. Like, he's always more interested in things obviously being a good story and everything. So I think as long there has been enough things that he has done to kind of be like a little bit not monotonous. He is trying to get away from monotony. So whenever they have an adventure, that's like his thing. I think the one thing that he didn't want to get involved in, or he didn't, that the whole scene with he and Rune talking about his past.
I was
was
just thinking
so
about that. That
good.
was one of my favorite scenes with the director. Just
Yes.
every duck, dip, dodge, dive, duck that the director could pull off.
Yes.
He was trying so hard.
So hard. But I did let something slip in the last episode. I let
Yes.
a little
And
tidbit.
you had a wife.
Oh,
Want to find out.
Mhm.
man.
For tax
I gotta
purposes,
start dropping weird
Enzokule-
mystery shit like that for Rune.
Enzokule's gonna need to know about that. Also, if you need NPCs for a wife, let me know, Alex. I know a couple of people who will wreck you.
Who wreck me? Is one of them B. Arthur?
Yes.
I thought that
That's
was
what
your
matters.
name.
You can
Guess what it
meet.
is?
You can meet her at Waffle House.
Yeah.
Or at 7-Eleven.
The director married someone named B. Arthur.
So I have a question for the group.
Sure.
How do each of you feel about the other characters, or how does your character and player feel about the other character?
Me, Spence, I love the director. I think the director is amazing
feel like a butt's
and
coming.
wonderful. Monica as a person finds the director both infuriating but also a comrade in arms against all these fucking tall people with their
Yeah,
stupid ideas
tall
and their
people.
weird adventures.
They're weird adventures.
Like, I just found a spot and you all are gonna go and make me feel guilty for not going with you to go save your butts again.
Yes.
Sailix is my homeboy. Has been since I got there.
Day
And
one.
Day one. And so that whole thing when Sailix came back and Monica's like, where the hell have you been? It's like, yeah, because you didn't write, you jerk. Enzokule reminds Monica of her older brothers, like very rude older brothers, and that's not a good thing. And obviously to everyone else, she's in love with Rune, but will not say a damn thing about it.
Hey, so it's like, hey, ain't none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to hang out.
Alex, how does the director feel about how does Alex feel about the other characters?
All
And how
right.
does the director feel about the other characters?
Alex, I can answer for Alex a lot easier than I can answer for the director. I love it's cheesy, but I love every single one of your characters. I really, really do. I think I never want to like pick favorites, so I'm not going to. I love Corvus.
Oh my gosh.
That's the only thing he loves. It's
Only
just Corvus.
thing. That's it. Is Corvus. I just want Corvus. No. I think that Monica, you're so endearing. Like, you're an endearing character, and I think that the director also feels the short person camaraderie, and Monica's a lot more stable than the director in a lot of ways. Like, and I think everybody is. I think most of the people are more stable than the director, because I think that the director is literally like, this is a really good story, but you could probably die. Fuck it. Let's go. It's done. I'm in. Let's do this. Whatever. He sees Rune as the protagonist. Like, that is who he has written a lot of this, like, is the story thus far about. He sees Rune as like the character he's building the rest of the story kind of around. And I think if Rune were to ever die, he'd have a really big issue, because he wouldn't know how to like kind of end things. So I'm glad you didn't die. Sailix is very attractive, so I think he's just been like hot elf playboy. Okay, done. Done. Inspirational. And Reika, he really likes Reika. Reika is really cool. I love lizards. Okay, so real talk, Alex loves lizards, and Alex loves lizard people. So if it wasn't going to be the director, I probably would also play a lizard person, because I love lizard people.
Real talk, Alex is a lizard person.
Real talk, I am. I lay in the sun and I need to be mist. And like, you have to dangle the food in front of me, and I'll
Moisturize me.
What's her face from Doctor Who? The Last Human. I'm trying to think. So when I had built the director to have both Rune and Xavi were going to be the two protagonists. Like, he was going to like write, this is about these two, but we've had some conflict with Malia, just timing and everything. Because work is hard for everybody. And if she ever comes back, the director would write her back in immediately, because I think that's what he had intended the story to go, to be these two pivotal characters. Moth is his he doesn't know what to make of him, but he's been interesting thus far, and thus far is going to write him into it. Fuck Enzokule. Like, real talk, fuck Enzokule. He hates him. He's made him the like blathering idiot in his other play, so that's what he'll continue. I don't even know. Did they answer the question? I don't remember what the question was.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
Daniel, what about you?
So Sailix is like Spence said, Sailix is like quite fond of Monica. Like out of all of the Unforgotten when they first met, I really thought that he would have bonded with Rune. And I think if I wouldn't have taken a break so long that like they would have probably hung out more. But yeah, Monica is like his OG chick. The director, he doesn't trust him. Like he's a shifty dude, and he's just kind of like always looking at him like, this guy, like one day he's gonna walk out of here with like the whole city's worth of gold, and it'll somehow be legit, and nobody will be able to stop him.
And then he'll be in debt. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say immediately afterward, he loses all like the horses or something. Like,
yeah.
Right. But I mean, they like when it comes down to to brass tacks, like the director has always showed up, so he has respect for him in that sense. Like he say that bird was flying at him on like my first session back, and like the director was just like, yeah, no, you could go and take a dirt nap.
out of all the things, like that bird really had it. Like that was the only thing I did out that got that bird.
You're like, fuck that bird. And with Rune, I really like Rune as a character. He seems to have a lot of depth, and he's very always driving things forward. Like even with his research, he's driving things forward. Like there's no stagnation to the character at all. And like you managed to capture that along with lightening the moment with Corvus like very like harmoniously, and it's like it's awesome in my opinion. And Moth, Sailix hates because he feels like he has murdered everybody all the time when he's around. And Enzokule, I just yeah.
Mitchell, what about you, man?
Oh god. I mean, Moth thinks that you guys are all weird, anatomically water-based brain monkeys. Just kind of weird and gross in general. Yeah, I mean, Rune is kind of like someone he is like, I don't know why you're mad at me, bro. You like did this to yourself.
Somebody in the chat said Moth is my serial killer zodiac animal.
Mine too.
What? So like, what? I haven't read anything about Leshies. Like, did you do anything specific with Moth to like make him your own, or like, did you input any other weird, creepy cryptid into like your Moth persona?
Yeah, so like there's different type of Leshies, and I chose the fungus one.
You're a fun guy. You're a fun guy.
Oh god, yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna mute Alex real quick.
This is fine. Anybody else does.
I never mute you.
But like I was thinking it'd be really awesome if he was just a fungus over a skeleton, a human skeleton, which obviously isn't in the Leshy description. But I was like, I want bones.
That reminds me of the villain from Fern Gully, played by Tim Curry. Like I want you to be like
Hexus?
Hexus, yeah. Who had that sexy song. He has a sexy the sexy song where he's like
healthy brown acid rain flowing down like egg chow mein.
I mean, Tim Curry, whatever he sings is sexy.
I feel like I need to go to a Waffle House.
Send me your address, bro.
There. I also want to remind people that we are missing Reika.
Mhm.
Oh,
do.
I'm sorry.
I said Reika.
You said Reika. I forgot.
With Reika, Salix she's super intense all the time. There's no like off or medium with her. Like she's around, she's rubbing spit on somebody, or she's putting a head on her pike somewhere. Like
Just like a real lizard.
she is always on 100, and I appreciate the intensity that Jen brings to the character all the time. Because I would be exhausted doing that for 2 hours a night.
Yep. Monica loves Reika because Reika gets loving things that are ugly and horrific. And Monica does too. Monica loves the wargs. She's enamored of the goblins and like wants to help them. So it's that is Monica's. And so when Reika just like drops everything and was like, we're gonna trust this suspicious guy, she was so betrayed. Because it was like, we had a thing, and then you just go and drop the thing for this dude that we don't even know, and he's completely changed from how you remember him. So the hell.
Enzokule, bitch.
Ay, come on.
So how does Enzokule feel about the party?
I mean, he generally likes, he enjoys their company. He feel like the director is fiscally irresponsible and probably needs help long term with his finances in order to have any sort of sustained lifestyle. Rune is intelligent, so he appreciates having another intelligent person around. Though he's not as cautious as Enzokule would like. Monica is spicy, and he doesn't know why he's spicy at him. Just kind of like, okay. Sailix is sexy. Reika, he kind of feels bad that she doesn't respect him anymore, and won't accept him for who he is now. But she'll get over it. But yeah, I mean that's the group. And Enzokule thinks Moth is weird, and prays he never sees him.
Are they ever in the same room?
Surprisingly, no. Which there's a lot of fan theories concerning this in my fanfic journal.
Will Moth kill Enzokule if like the director pays him?
Oh, well, Moth. He's not really an assassin. I mean, if you probably was like, "Yo, Enzokule,"
He cut down like 50 trees. I
yeah,
watched him cut down 50 trees. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and Moth has been meaning to go on a date in the village sometime.
Yeah, you're not allowed. You're not allowed in.
What I realized last session was that I could go invisible, and I don't know why I just didn't do that. I was very sad. I was like, oh, look, I could do this.
What about Rune? How does Rune feel about the party?
Ooh.
Aha! The tables have turned, Mr. Smith. You must answer your own question.
So they have.
Turntables.
So, Rune enjoys the director. If for no other reason than the director pulls from a type of magic that he is unaccustomed to. Typically because bardic magic is musical in nature, or in the director's case, oratory acting. And he enjoys the brevity that the director brings, even in the midst of combat. And Rune feels very comfortable knowing that the director is watching over everyone and is there to lend aid when needed. Sailix, he really wants to help Sailix, and even hired Enzokule to track down Sailix's partner. Rune fundamentally doesn't like to see his friends going through hard times and recognizing that he hadn't really known Sailix for very long. It was one of those camaraderie through combat scenarios. And actually, he didn't even realize that Sailix was going through that until it come up in the game at one point, sort of a side comment that his partner had disappeared. I was like, oh, well, we've got to fix that. So during that like year and a half downtime, he had asked Enzokule to track down what he could. Moth, again, he was interested in what Moth was, and he is still interested in what Moth is trying to do, only so he can try and get ahead of it to stop it, because I'm pretty sure it's apocalyptic in nature. Clearly, right now, he has a bit of a feeling of terror and fear when it comes to Moth, given he just lost his eye. But, you know, shit happens. Enzokule, he is sad for Enzokule.
Oh, man.
Because he recognizes that Enzokule, given Enzokule's age, that something happened to Enzokule. And he's seen, it was actually a really good, I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but it was a really good RP scene where that the past had caught up and people were starting to realize what happened, and he almost started to remember the trauma that he had so desperately tried to forget. That was a very poignant scene for Rune and Enzokule that didn't necessarily involve them interacting. It was at that point that Rune was like, oh, now I get you. I get where you're coming from. I'm very, very sorry. So yeah, he just feels bad for Enzokule and hopes that he finds his way back from whatever traumatic hole he has dug himself into. Reika, Rune is right on the same path as Sailix. She is 120% 24/7. All that said, her loyalty is bar none, and Rune respects that. If nothing else, Rune respects that. But yeah, he doesn't like Rune. I think Rune is growing to be a fixer. Someone he feels he has to fix his friends or help his friends, not fix them necessarily, but help them. And he doesn't really see anything in her that she needs help with. Like Reika is coming off as such a strong and forthright individual in and of herself. Like he'll just be there to help support whatever she needs. And there's Monica. It was, when was it? There was a scene, I want to say maybe session 3 or 4. And it was when she started to get the respect of the goblins. She was so proud of her role in connecting with the goblins, earning their trust, becoming a leader of sorts to them. And he saw this desire to be something more than she was or felt she was. And he honestly, he just latched onto that. It reminded him of his sister, really, and when she was becoming a priestess or a cleric. But it was very endearing to him, and just set him on a path to do whatever he could to help her. However, his obsession clearly getting in the way of quite a bit in that instance. But yeah, he that's his perspective on the party.
So I have a question for Mr. Smith, which I put in chat.
Oh.
How do you feel about the Odin-esque similarity to Rune, where you have lost an eye for knowledge and power?
That is a really good observation, and oddly apropos to his theme. Hadn't really considered it. That, wow, I don't know.
Something to think. I love mythology. So like when Rune lost an eye and it was like it was because he was just like I need more power and this seems like a good idea, and then you lost an eye. I'm going, oh look, it's Odin.
So not to throw off the fact that Rune did a dumb thing and the RP should go that way, right? The thought process going through Rune's head when he swallowed the entire vial was, if I understand this, I can break Moth.
And then it brought Moth back.
Hello.
Double-edged sword,
Whoa.
you know.
Oh
I
boy.
mean, it was really there's little doubt that Rune is out to learn, and it's not the power necessarily aspect, but it is the knowledge portion of it. I can see some distinct similarities in the Odin mythos. Again, further proof that no story is original. As a side note.
Apparently we've blown the GM's mind.
Same here, man. Same here. I hadn't even considered that. That was a good spot.
Yeah. The director gets to
that was a
write
crit
about
roll.
this. This is super cool. Like this is
Yeah.
all very,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Out of all of the NPCs that you've interacted with Ian portraying them all, who has been your favorite one that he has portrayed?
B. Arthur. I can't because nobody has I have spent how many points?
4,000.
4,000 points. B. Arthur. No,
We're waiting for an appropriate amount. We just haven't found it yet.
I was kidding.
I particularly liked the dwarven like loan sharks that you've gotten yourself in with, Director. I found them to be both charming and menacing, and I think they're just fantastic.
Yeah, so that's such an interesting scene. That was actually almost going to be one of my favorite scenes was that scene, but I kind of wanted to be like with other not just with Ian as an NPC, but that was for the director. That was super weird. That was super like. Once again, he does not have a head for money. Like that was kind of like my whole thing. He's just like hearing, oh, I'm going to take care of this debt, and Enzokule won't be with you. Like you want to deal with Enzokule anymore? Fine, done. Don't care what has to be done. Don't care. Sign whatever. Which is like the worst thing to have him do. But like that was I enjoyed that scene as well. I liked those NPCs as well.
Anybody else have a favorite NPC?
My favorite is I think because in the beginning, like
where your husband? Where your husband?
Yeah. My fiance, because Ian had very loosely said, so Sailix will know or have a relationship with this person, Kellen. And I was like, okay. And then he just let me run with it. Like he gave me full permission to go wild with it. And the first thing I said was like, that's my fiance. And he was like, just rolled with it, and like it just kind of immediately spun this whole side story for Sailix as a character, which I am absolutely in love with, and I appreciate 120%.
Can we talk about Amira for a second? And how Amira is the guardswoman who is the daughter of a council person, and she was spending many an evening drinking tea with Enzokule and getting information.
She was pumping him for information.
I had assumed that was just a part of like the directory, because wasn't she the daughter of the guy that he ended up making the deal with, the tax? The same?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm looking at the journal now. Nah.
If only had the GM, but
Amira-
He was approached.
Oh.
He was approached by.
Amira Lang is related to Quintino Passandi. but-
Okay, yeah, because he was approached by. I thought it was Amira, and I think it is. I think he was
Yeah.
approached by Amira to go talk to her relative, her father. I thought it was her father, but it might have been.
It's her uncle.
Okay, yeah, and so my interpretation was that she was pumping Enzokule for information about the director and about how shitty he is with money, but I don't know. Like, I guess he could have. I don't know.
I mean,
What about you,
Enzokule
Ben?
loves talking about taxes and fiscal responsibility.
I hate Enzokule so much. Alex hates him so much because he just reminds me of this is very cool. No, I don't like Enzokule because that reminds me of my job. I do that in real life. Like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear about that. I come to play not to deal with taxes and accounting and all that stuff. I want to be fiscally unresponsible.
So, Mitch, who was your favorite NPC?
I mean, it is the three spouses for Enzokule. The guest appearances who wrecked Enzokule. Sam, Ash, and of course Hjalmar from Red Moon Roleplay. Just kind of having them there was amazing, and I had a wonderful time, and they did such a great job, and they were so sassy, and they are everything Enzokule loved for spouses. So it was just a hell of a good time, and I want them back.
I was gonna say, are there any thoughts of bringing them back? Because I'd
Yes,
love to
they want to come back to probably
Right.
wreck me again, but
do it.
Yeah.
Do it. The director wants to be there, and is he was there in spirit, and he definitely wrote a lot of notes, and was
But there
very
was
happy.
also a hot spring.
There was a hot spring. There was a hot
was.
spring. That was
Oh,
where
I missed the hot spring episode.
You did.
yeah, and there was
Damn.
nipple rings and like
Self-mutilation.
I miss
Yeah.
all the good stuff.
Hey, Rune, who's your favorite NPC?
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask me that.
I have an idea, but
yeah, so do
I could be wrong.
So I was actually trying to find her name because I fully spacing, but it's our current villain,
Vaz?
Vaz. Yeah,
oh, she's cool. Yeah.
Ah,
She is.
yeah.
interesting.
Smith is always appreciative of a good villain because I've been a villain for so long. The vitriol that Voss puts out is good, and the fact that, in all honesty, props to our GM Ian. One of my favorite things as a player is when my backstory gets yanked in and thrown in my face, and the fact that the Chancellor was brought in was spot on. That was brilliant. I really appreciated that.
I thought you were gonna say Jarrell Blacktusk.
That's what I thought. Was...
So Drill Blacktusk, he is an ally, but he's such a background NPC for Rune. And to be fair, like, I don't think they've had an honestly good amount of time to interact. Which is weird because I feel those two would be such close friends.
Well, I mean, you guys are close. You did that one bit of magic where he took his shirt off and you worked your magic to straighten out his back.
What did I miss?
You were given back
so
massages?
Jarrell Blacktusk suffers from like scoliosis or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
His back is all warped. Rune had just learned the ability to soothe, and so it healed him up, and he felt better. But I mean, I feel that's just a character trait of Rune. Like, he likes Blacktusk. Blacktusk helped him out. Of course, he's going to do what he can for Jarrell. It's the least he can do. I mean, Jarrell's offering his vast library and his own knowledge of the area. If Rune's anything, he's loyal to those who stick their neck out for him. It's the reason why he got the director of that stage. I mean, when we leveled up, I was looking through some formulas for Rune to pick up as part of his magical crafting, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm getting it. Like there was no question. I had to get that for the director.
You saved my play.
Yeah, it
That
was
was very
awesome.
endearing. Yeah, and actually, I wanted to. Yeah, that was that whole thing, and Rune helping the director. And that, like, the director is never gonna forget. That's you're gonna get you will be remembered forever. You have bought your immortality through the director, but not really. I don't know what he's gonna do, but like that was really cool. I really like the director. Really was like, oh man, Rune, you're great.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's those little things that for Rune, for me anyway, help kind of make Rune that, for as stupid as he can be, when it comes to his obsession. Um, he really does try to do the best he can for those he sees as friends. So yeah.
What is your character's worst fear in game? Like, what do you fear will happen in game?
So for Sailix, his I'm gonna his worst fear, I guess, would be that he's finally gonna find Kalen, and he's gonna have to kill him. Like he's gonna be some tied to like the plot to like for the fall of the city or something, and he's just going to have to just murder him to save like either the Unforgotten who haven't abandoned him or the city who also hasn't abandoned him. So yeah, that's his big hang up right now.
How about you, Alex?
The director kind of really only has one fear.
Tax collectors.
Tax no.
Not
No.
becoming a legend.
Of banality, of being forgettable, and not being able to complete something that will immortalize him and his stories and everything. And also a very real threat of that for him as a character is the bleaching, and that's a very known fear, and he has that is his real fear, and he can't the horrible thing is he can't think about it for long, because if he starts thinking about it for too long, it's much like anxiety, where he'll just become more upset. Like it'll happen, like it'll start to happen. So like he just is I'm not thinking about that at all. I have to keep doing things, I have to keep having fun, because if not, I'm going to die. I'm going to be not even death. It's worse than death. It's the bleaching. So the bleaching. That is his real fear.
Mr. Smith.
So this is going to lead to some story reveal for Rune. Rune's biggest fear is that he will never be able to see his family again because his own obsession will not let him. So Rune, I think it was revealed in the story that Rune was actually kicked out of the college, the Wizards College.
Yeah, you went over that last session. Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as his family is concerned, he is still there. And he never told them where he was going. And he does not want to disappoint them by letting them know that he was kicked out. And so he doesn't want to return to them, or he won't return to them until he has achieved his goal of fulfilling his experiment. But yeah, that's his fear.
We both dropped out of school.
What about
you dropped out? I got kicked out. Sorry.
What about Moth and Enzokule?
I mean, Moth's fear is that when he goes on a date with a human, that this person won't appreciate the skeleton-like fungus of his being, and that, you know, he'll get his feelings hurt.
The opposite of Lieutenant Commander Data. You're like the exact opposite of that. You're ever so creepy and ever so organic, trying to be human. Yeah. I don't like it. Who's your spot?
Yeah, I mean, skeletons, you know, they eventually decompose and turn into dust, and he's been on this skeleton for some time, and love will find a way and hopefully provide him another vessel. Yeah.
What about Enzokule?
Enzo, I mean, like, what's not his greatest fear? He's pretty much terrified of most things. Yeah, it's just kind of everything in general. He's a very fearful person. Yeah.
Better fear these hands.
Get these hams.
Get these hams.
Nah, except for the director, because obviously a fiscally irresponsible person, will be forgotten.
Yeah.
Eventually.
What about Moth?
Yeah. What then, Alex?
What?
Sailix is just gonna bonk him with a sword.
Enzo's very bonkable.
What about Monica? What's her biggest?
Yeah.
She actually had to face her biggest fear in the very last battle that we just had.
With Aldonis?
With Aldonis, and with Aldonis being in trouble and Rune being down, she had to make a choice.
Yeah, the choice.
Between two people that she cares a lot, or two beings that she cares a very great deal about. And for all intents and purposes, it looked like Rune was dead. So she had to go and try to save Aldonis, and then Rune survived, and that's something that she's gonna have to
Awkward.
She's gonna have to process that, because she made a choice, and that's gonna haunt her. That's gonna haunt her for a while.
Just for the record, Sailix is officially out of potions, so nobody else die. Looking at you, Rune.
Don't tell
Looking
me
at you.
Moth
Yeah, I
is
should probably make some of those.
Moth is a cleric.
Moth
Yeah, Moth is a very unconventional and non-helpful cleric.
Not helpful. Damn.
Another one of my favorite parts is when Moth and Sailix just stood outside the front gate throwing divine lance at each other. For
I know, right? You're like, holy power, and I'm like, infernal.
I think we have time for one more question. So chat, if you have a question, let us know. And that's mostly because I'm falling asleep.
So I suppose to as we wait for a question, in fairness, I guess Corvus would have some answers to who he likes in the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really appreciate the beautiful nest of hair around Sailix's lovely skull. Those beautiful gooey orbs in his head are bright and pretty. I want to poke them out with my beak.
Let me eat your eyes. Let me eat your eyes.
The director has lovely hair. I believe it's purple, maybe green.
It's green.
Rather
Today.
infuriating little creature, but it lets me ride in his head, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Pretty costumes. Yeah. Moth is a disgusting, earthy bitch that I want to poop on.
Alright, Corvus, just like initiative. Bitch.
Catch these hands.
Tell me one of them eye sockets, you little pearly bastard. I'll poop right in it.
Alright, it's like,
Go, Corvus.
I'll fight
Loud
back.
Atlas, let's do this initiative. We're going.
Yeah.
Mordecai, my dear little Mordecai, never listens to me. Nope, not so. But friendly enough. She got a dog too. Dog scares me.
I do listen to Corvus. Just Corvus is sometimes wrong.
As for the lizard lady, that tongue is scary. I think she'll eat me.
Baby.
What about
As for Rune, he's a bit of a lovely individual. I care for him deeply. He's the best human ever.
Aw.
He told me to say that, the rat bastard.
What about Enzokule?
Oh, Enzokule. He is such a lovely person. I love the sense of his teas. His sandwiches are delightful. What he does not realize is I peck at them before he eats them.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Gotta
Yes,
wash
Corvus.
your
Yes. He doesn't want the bird. Gonna get avian flu.
So I guess I should go over Aldonis then, if we're doing that. Aldonis, he is, his bestie is Reika, because Reika will go hunting with him, and like that is his favorite thing. He appreciates Rune. He knows that the experiments that Rune does with him is so that he can move around, so he can become stronger, so he can maybe fight his brother at some point. Who knows? He thinks that the director is okay, but he talks a lot. So there's that. Sailix, Monica likes Sailix, so he likes Sailix. And Corvus, he does in fact want to eat. Like, no joke. And Moth just smells weird. He's not sure if he likes it yet, but he smells weird. He smells a little bit like death. And of course he likes Monica because Monica is mama.
Mau.
So since there's no questions from the chat, I mean, I can ask one.
Sure.
So it's kind of the opposite of the one you asked earlier, like of the fears. What is your character's greatest aspiration that they want to achieve, or that you want them to achieve throughout the rest of the campaign? Alex.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. All right.
No. Kind of like before, he wants to make sure that he is not forgotten. Like that is his main goal. He wants to create a story or stories or plays that tell of his, not only his tales, but the tales of those around him, and like make them legend, make them mythos, like make them these stories that people refer to when they are looking for adventure. And like these are the stories that he wants to write, and that he feels that he is destined to write. Like this is not just so much he wants to, he feels that this is his calling, this is what he needs to do, regardless of anything else, regardless of money, regardless of like kind of people too. Like that is his thing. And if he doesn't get, like if he does not succeed in that, his only other option is to kind of fall the way of other gnomes have, which is the bleaching and everything. Like it's either that or the highway. There is no other secondary. It's like he's either going to do it or he's not. So that is where he is going to go.
How about you, Monica?
Monica wants to create the home that she feels like she should have had, and make it a home for people who are a little bit off like she is. And so she started to find that with the keg, like getting the blessing of Jacob to go and start cooking and doing brews, things that she knows, but she's often associated with her family. And so now she's making it her own, is something that she aspires to. And she wants the party to know that food is love, and that wherever she is, she will make space for them. Like she loves not having to hide anymore, but what she loves more and what she wants more of is like to not settle down, but to grow somewhere. And
someplace home.
Yeah. And this feels like a place where she can actually do that on her terms.
Anything for you, Enzokule or Moth?
I mean, Enzokule would like to fulfill his duty.
He got paid off. No, he's done. There is no more.
You are not. You are a side
No.
quest
I am a side
in
quest.
his exploration. But he
He's
is
done.
meant to die defeating the darkness, and it's something he still is going to do. And he just wants that chance. For Moth, well, you'll just have to see.
Not ominous at all. And how about Faroon?
I think it's fairly apparent. Rune will be able to, will learn and be able to cast every tradition of magic that is possible. That is his mission and sole purpose in life, as far as he's concerned.
What about
Like-
Sailix?
Oh.
Yeah, Sailix.
Ooh,
Back at you,
Sailix?
Mano.
yeah.
Gonna catch these hands.
His hands.
You caught me in a weird spot. Salix's aspiration right now, obviously he wants to find what happened to Kalen and why he just up and vanished. But more so than that, he wants to make sure that, like, through the year downtime, he wants to make sure that the city will not just, like, with being with the Unforgotten and everything for so long, he wants to make sure that the city will grow and not just stay, like, the small city. Like, he sees so much potential and he wants to try and implement that to grow. Like, he wants to see the city grow leaps and bounds, like reach the Citadel, and he wants to help as much as possible while keeping these people safe. But first, he's gonna find that bastard after he left and throw some hams. I'm gonna beat him with a halfling and a gnome. Dual wielding.
Dual wielding.
And I have 2 daggers, so technically you're quattro wielding.
I'm just gonna scream.
Yeah.
Director's just gonna scream.
Are we good for an outro question or more of a general ask from everybody, all the cast members here? What, as we prepare to wrap up for this evening, what are the mysteries that we can all remember right now that are currently going on in game?
Why does Rune look like the founder of Breach Hill?
I've forgotten about that one. That's fair.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Identical.
Um,
I kind of can't answer that because when I was making Sailix fully, I got a glimpse of the story, so I cannot answer.
How dare
I
you?
will spoil things.
All right.
another one was why are Reika and Monica's necklaces keys, and why were they destined to have them? We kind of know Reika's now, but not Monica's.
Right. Naroon's interested in why Norberger, the cult of Norberger, become interested in these gates.
Yeah, that's-
For
What?
Moth.
Because Vaz is a worshiper of Norberger.
For Moth, I mean, he's just kind of curious how humans do what they do without killing themselves on a daily basis. It's like watching a pumpkin with legs move about. You're just curious, why don't they squish? And for Enzokule, if he can satisfy his collective like he did in the past.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
These
The answer
hands.
is these hands.
Throw
Boy,
them at you.
Come here. Step up.
So last question from the chat from our GM: does Breach Hill feel like home?
No.
Yes.
Not yet.
Yes.
The director doesn't want her home, nor does he look for it. So this is a place. He's here. This is where he's doing some stuff, and this seems to be where a lot of good stories are happening. So that is kind of where
This is the first place where people don't actively hate Monica, so yeah.
Yeah, Sailix was here to begin with, so it's not like he traveled here because of the Flyers. So his home's been here for a while. His annoying half brother's here, which I mean, he's just
Yeah,
gonna watch.
brother's cute.
He's gonna watch over until he dies of old age, and then I'm like, now I'm kind of sad.
No.
But yeah, no, this is definitely home for Sailix.
Rune, did you answer?
Yeah, not quite yet.
Okay.
The Citadel, though, that's
Citadel is
now?
just his part of his obsession.
And real quick, I forgot. I really like the goblins. I've enjoyed the goblins.
Yes.
The
NPC.
goblins have been a nice touch.
Yeah,
The Bumble Brashers.
the Bumble
Yeah.
Brashers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
All right.
Any last question, chat?
No,
Well,
I think-
that was our last
That was the last
question.
question.
You can't keep
No.
going, Alex.
All right.
I wanna
All
keep
right.
Spence, why don't you send us off?
All right. So, first of all, friends, followers, and everything in between. If you look right below my face, there is a heart, there is a bell, and there is a subscribe button. If you hit the heart or the bell, you will get notified whenever we go online, whenever we get a new video drop. So please, it's like the easiest thing that you can do. You can also hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, no charge. It's awesome. If you are on Twitch, the subscription really helps us out. You get access to our amazing emojis, and it really supports the channel, so thank you. I have been Spence. I play Monica Freerunner. I look forward to playing this game again in 2 weeks when we come back, and you can catch me here next Monday for Cult Black Madonna, and we will see what happens because Wes died, and that was very sad. And also you can catch me on my Twitch channel, which is Resonant Moon. And Alex.
Oh shit. Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Alex. Thank you for coming here and asking us questions and listening to us. You can catch me here next Monday or this Monday, the Monday that's coming up.
Like tomorrow?
Like tomorrow.
every Monday.
Every Monday. Every Monday. Tomorrow's my Star Wars gaming. You should probably check that out. We're getting back into the swing of things. And then every Monday, other Monday is Cult, and I am here. R.I.P. Wes. Bye forever. Is the cookies, and here every Sunday for Pathfinder. Daniel.
Hi guys, I'm Daniel. I play Sailix the Crestfallen, and I wanted to really encourage everybody to come back next Sunday. I have the guest spot to run Session 0 for my new Scion game that I'm going to be running with some awesome people, and it's going to be awesome, and I really hope to see everybody out there. And then it's going to be Fridays after that, but we're gonna do that later. Yeah, so go ahead, subscribe, come back and watch us all the time. And Mr. Smith, your turn.
Hello, I'm Mr. Smith. I play Rune Ravenswood, and hopefully I won't be killing anybody, let alone myself, in 2 weeks when we get back to this game. I will not be here next week because I will be trying to wrap up my dissertation. So I'll be taking that Sunday off to do the best I can. Otherwise, you can find me here or at IamMrSmith.com, where I discuss cybersecurity, psychology, scotch, gaming, coffee. Take your pick. Mitchell.
Yes. I am Mitchell, and this is Penny for a Tale, and it has been such a wonderful time. And little do they know that Moth is just Enzokule with a mask. They'll find that out later. But I hope everyone had a lovely time, lovely weekend, and we will see you before you see us. Have a wonderful night. Bye.